Last night, I did a lot of thinking about how Otto and Arora would get along with the other Prime assets, seeing as Red Barrels has been trying to create a family out of the Prime assets. So with Otto and Arora coming out tomorrow, now's the perfect time to share how I feel they would interact. Let me start with the only social preference of Otto and Arora that we know of. They hate the poor. They hate poor people. I guess they're kind of stereotypical rich people, huh? But I don't think this would be a problem since none of the Prime assets are part of the lower class. Coyle is a decorated war veteran and a high-ranking police officer who is highly respected in his community, not to mention the amount of money he may have inherited from his wives after he separated from them. So it's safe to say he has a pretty cozy living. As for Gooseberry, Dr. Futterman was, or still is, I guess, a dentist with a doctorate, so they likely had plenty of money. Along with the fact that she had a popular children's TV show, which likely roped in even more money, I'd say they were pretty well off. And Franco is the prince of a New Orleans crime family, so he's probably the wealthiest of them all besides Otto and Arora. And so that whole part, we don't have to worry about that at all. So let's talk about who they'd get along with the best. Honestly, I think they'd probably get along with Franco the best because he's a fellow businessman. He runs a drug business. Yeah, it's not a legal business, but I'm pretty sure Otto and Arora don't care. And he belongs to a wealthy family. But most importantly, I think they might find kinship with each other due to their disabilities. Although I don't know how they'll feel about his fetishes. They might consider him pretty weird for that. And to those of you who say, oh, their incest is weird, I mean, let's be honest. In the 1930s and 40s, who could they have possibly found who would love them in a sexual way, besides themselves? I feel like they had that was kind of the only people who would love them that way, was each other, so it makes a lot of sense why they became lovers. So yeah, they'd probably judge Franco. They probably consider their relationship rather normal. They might get along pretty well with Coyle because of his position and his standing. They might respect him because of that. I feel it really depends on how Coyle feels towards them. Because we all know how Coyle feels towards lots of people.
If you're the right kind of person, you got nothing to worry about.
Coyle has voice lines towards Franco displaying pity for his deformities.
It boggles the mind that God could be so generous to some and so parsimonious to others.
This implies that he doesn't discriminate against the disabled, and perhaps would respect them for their accomplishments despite their disabilities. Coyle also seems like a person who would respect the elderly, and who knows, Otto and Arora might remind him of his own grandparents. Apparently Gooseberry reminded him of his own mother. So perhaps Otto and Arora remind him of his mom Peepop. As for Gooseberry, she's a pretty odd case. They might respect Dr. Futterman for his doctorate, but I don't know how they feel towards people in the entertainment industry. You might be wondering how they would know that Dr. Futterman is an actual doctor. Well, this would be a good time to mention that Otto and Arora might have had access to the documents about each Prime asset, since they've worked in the Lathe facility for quite a while. So they may already know all about each of the Prime assets before meeting them. This would allow Otto to understand them well enough to talk to them without offending them or causing any sort of ill will, seeing as he is a politician and talking to people is basically his natural talent. Arora is the only one I could see getting into arguments with the other assets, since she's a pessimist and she seems like the grumpy old person, which I think is kind of funny. I feel like the common stereotype for old people is that the old man's the grumpy one, but the old lady is the sweet, kind one. So I liked how they flipped it. So now Aurora's the grumpy one that's real irritable, and Otto's the very kind, sweet-talking one. perhaps Coyle would have a voice line where he says, "Well, they remind me of my own mama and Peepop, but well, my Peepop was the grumpy one, not my Mamaw." Something like that. But we won't know exactly how they feel towards one another until tomorrow. I didn't play during Project Lupara, so I don't know if the Meet the Prime Asset game mode features interactive voice lines, or if that's only exclusive to Prime Time. So we may know how they interact tomorrow. Either way, all this discussion has got me really excited for the update, and I hope you all are as well. I thought I'd get this video out real quick before tomorrow, because I thought I'd want to, say something about it, because this stuff has been on my mind for the past few days. But anyway, that'll be all from this funny man. Until next time.